Your calendar is not lying to you. It is in fact April. And yes, we are still talking about the potential for lowland snow. Is this unprecedented, and how much, if any, snow will we get? That's all going to be discussed in this video. So, as always, I will start off with the National Weather Service watches and warnings. And because of the potential for lowland accumulation, any lowland valley from the Portland metro area north has a winter weather advisory associated with it. Plus, areas in the Columbia River Gorge and the Coast Range also have a winter weather advisory for more likely accumulations, plus a winter storm warning for the Cascades because of higher accumulations there. Now, is this unprecedented? Yeah, pretty much it is. So, for Portland, specifically at the Portland Airport, which is the official observing site that the National Weather Service uses, therefore, this is the date you'll hear more often on television and on the National Weather Service social media feeds. The last snowfall occurred on March 25th, and the year it occurred was 1965, only about 0.3 of an inch. But the downtown records actually go back further. Instead of 1940 at the Portland Airport, downtown records go back to about 1880 or so, with April 10th being the actual last day of snowfall there, with only 1/10 of an inch of snow. However, there has been 2 days in April with an inch or more of snowfall. April 1st, 1936 with 5 inches of snowfall, and April 7th, 1933 with 1.4 inches of snowfall. I should note with this 1.4 inch day that the low temperature was only 36 degrees, therefore further proving that you do not need it to get to 32 degrees or lower in order to have snowfall accumulate on the ground. In Salem, the last snowfall occurred on March 29th in the 1930s, and Eugene, it occurred April 11th. Actually, tomorrow's day, coincidentally, in 1911, having 2 inches at each location. Should be noted with Eugene's April snowfall that was the only recorded April snowfall that Eugene has had, at least measurably. Now, in terms of the setup, this is actually the classic snowstorm setup that Portland tends to receive more towards the December to February time frame instead of April. So a low pressure system will move onshore. I'm thinking probably right around Newport or a little bit north of Newport. However, computer models are ranging the low pressure landfall location from around Tillamook to Florence. So still actually a lot of uncertainty, despite this actually being only about 12 hours out, actually less than that as of time of recording, which is about 7 p.m. Pacific time. The low pressure system landfall location has a big impact on where any snow is going to be, because if you want snow, you pretty much need to be north of where the low pressure system makes landfall. So assuming a Newport landfall location, this would pretty much mean any area from about Corvallis / Albany northward would receive snowfall under a typical scenario, while any area south would just receive rainfall. Now, this is April and not January, so as a result, you won't experience as much snow as in January, and only about a couple hour window as a result of potential accumulation compared to possibly the entire day's worth of snowfall. In addition, with this type of setup, this actually tends to bring gusty east winds out of the Columbia River Gorge and the lower Cascade passes. That is a horrible arrow. I am sorry. Of course, heaviest winds will be closer towards the Columbia River Gorge rather than towards the Cascade Passage, just because that's a bigger wind funnel instead. So, for the Portland temperature timeline, I'm thinking it'll start to transition to snow right around 1 a.m. Monday, completing the transition somewhere between 3 and 6 a.m. for the lowlands. However, the freezing level will still remain right around 500 feet or so, even at the low temperature of about 34 degrees that I'm predicting. So as a result, you need the heavier bands of precipitation to get accumulating snow to the valley floor, and because the road temperatures are warmer this time of year compared to the same temperature in January, most snow accumulation will occur actually on grassier surfaces compared to the road surfaces. However, because of the gusty winds, if there's any snowfall on the morning commute, you'll still get snow blowing into your windshield. The snow will transition back into rain probably right around 9 to 11 a.m. and we'll struggle to get into the mid 40s tomorrow. I'm thinking a high right around 44 degrees and a potential dry period Monday evening into Tuesday morning. However, we'll see about that. Corvallis has a far more uncertain forecast in terms of where this low pressure system rolls ashore. If it does roll ashore in Newport, Corvallis does have about a 50-50 shot of seeing any sort of snowfall. If it's south more towards Florence, Corvallis has a really good shot of seeing snowfall. And then if it's making landfall closer to Tillamook, forget it. As a result, I'm just going to split the difference and call it just a rain snow mix throughout from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m., still transitioning back over to rain, and I'm going to have it be a couple of notches warmer with the high temperature right at about 47 degrees, with that same potential dry period Monday evening to Tuesday morning. Now for the snow totals, any area from about McMinnville to Molalla north is likely to have some sort of full transition to snow / minor snow accumulation. I'm thinking trace to 2 inches, with the super heavy bands being about 2 to 3 inches. If this snowstorm occurred in January, this would have been an 8 to 12 inch snowstorm based on how much precipitation is available with this storm. Just to give you a comparison. For areas in the central Willamette Valley, probably only 0 to 1 inches. And I should note that on both of these cells, I guess is what you would call them, most locations will actually be more closer to the lower end of that scale compared to the upper end of that scale. For the mountains, anywhere from about 6 to 24 inches depending on elevation, and then for the gorge plus eastern Oregon and Washington, anywhere from about 1 to 4 inches of snow. That also includes the southern coast range as well. It's just other forecast notes. This is pretty much going over what I mentioned earlier, that the wind gusts could be up to 35 miles per hour tomorrow, mainly in areas that are closer to the Columbia Gorge. However, for areas that are not as close to the gorge, and specifically further towards Corvallis and Eugene, the wind gusts will probably only reach 20 miles per hour, if that, tomorrow. Most accumulation, if any, will be on the grass, as I mentioned earlier, plus the freezing level, with it being about 500 feet. Most locations probably will only see snow in the air, except in the heaviest bands. And there's a good chance that even if the heaviest bands were to occur, that you're probably not going to see snow on the ground in the morning hours. So for the Portland metro area, I'm thinking the high temperatures for both Monday and Tuesday will break the daily record cold high temperatures, but the low temperatures will not break the record low temperatures for those days. Possible rain snow mix occurs from Tuesday on to Thursday. This is a more extreme scenario of just what could occur. I'm thinking that the snow line will probably stay at about 500 feet. Correction, rain snow mix line will occur right around 500 feet with sticking snow above that. So just FYI, but that is well within the margin of error to bring the snow level back down to the Valley 4. So I have the rain snow mix graphic in here. But after Thursday, I think we are finally done with the snow threats for the winter, with high temperatures slowly creeping back up to not even average yet. Average on Sunday is right around 62 to 63 degrees. But at least it'll be dry on Sunday and more dry on Friday and Saturday, with hopefully some sun breaks peeking out there. The lowest temperatures will not be making that much of a recovery, struggling to get to about 40 degrees. For Corvallis, the low temperatures are going to be slightly warmer to begin with, same with high temperatures. And then also, I'm going to keep it a rain snow mix similar to Portland. However, again, there's a lot of uncertainty with Tuesday through Thursday. Like Portland, rain chance and definitely snow chance will diminish as we go into the weekend, with high temperatures again creeping back up. However, unlike Monday and Tuesday, staying a notch colder than Portland, and low temperatures will be much colder than Portland. Now, if needed, based on potential snow threats Tuesday, Wednesday, and / or Thursday, I will come out with another video if needed. Otherwise, this very well could be the last and only video I put out on this, so please stay safe out there for this likely unprecedented event. Otherwise, just take care.